Peace, peace, happy now. Now's the vibrate. Of course, not too far in the future, not too far in the past. Right now, seeing how like right now, it's a strong energy of letting it be known to be aware that the changes that was always projected, like, man, the earth is gonna change. And before I even get into it, like, also seeing how I express that in the best way possible to not create any panic, you know uh in my other video, because this would be basically like the part two of it. But expressing like no future anxieties, and being out to the fullest. And like, if you're gonna transition, whether it be from uh apocalypse or dehydration, just always be aware of preparation to transition, you know what I'm saying? But the reason why, again, I was bringing up these things is to have that awareness that, you know, all these predictions and premonitions of, like, this quote unquote change that some may call apocalypse, it's definitely, without putting no date on it like that, it's getting very closer to the point where, just making sure, again, like, we're prepared and stuff. And that's why, the vibration is raising. And a lot of us are going through that aspect of, you know, like, again, experiencing a strong energy of those old habits that no longer serve us. Kind of like, some of us may be dealing with that on a harsh level, because, again, the split is also coming stronger. So, like, the split in between energies, of the vibrations that's raising and the vibrations that's, staying low. It's like a split. So, like, again, there's no way to, because even when we talk about balance is not like, oh, let me become the greatest version of myself while I still hold on to past aspects that no longer serve me. That's not balance, you know. And hence why, and I done went through that of seeing, like, yeah, like, I saw a little, well, in ways, in my reality, my logical reasoning was like kind of using that, like, oh no, you're being balanced. Like, no, that's not fucking balance. You're creating insanity. You're creating a split in your consciousness by trying to hold on to old shit and, and become your greatest version. You know what I'm saying? Like, holding on to low vibrational things while trying to raise your vibration. Again, one foot on the gas, one foot on the brake. That's just gonna be doing donuts and confusing the bodysuit. And fucking with the nervous system, which the nervous system has a strong connection with, our chakras and our soul and spirit. Hence why sugar and salts, you know, uh, it's like used to attack the nervous system. But anyway, again, just that whole apocalypse vibe. And something that I didn't say in the other video, and I'm saying now, is like, also being aware. Again, everything is a balance. Like, we don't want to fear monger ourselves with anything, but we definitely don't want to stick our head in the sand either. We want to make sure, and I talked about that aspect with the New Age movement and stuff like that, of like that, oh, stay positive and keep it peaceful. Don't talk about the apocalypse. Don't talk about things ending, you know what I'm saying, or this and that. And it's like, it is what it is. This is something that's coming, you know what I'm saying, and we can't deny it. We can't stick, again, like how I use the example, a broke leg. If I got a broke leg, it's not gonna help that broke leg by ignoring that broke leg or acting like, it's not there, you know. Like, and the same thing with what's to come right now. It's like, can't stick my head in the sand and be like, oh man, that's negative, so I don't want to, I just want to talk about crystals and sunshine and unicorns. And that is one of those little slick ways of how, the New Age movement programming, kind of affects people in that manner. you know but right now, again, it's just that awareness to not panic, but definitely, you know I'm gonna use one for Abraham Hicks books. You know what I'm saying? Want to be ready to be ready to be ready to be ready. You know what I'm saying? like, right now again, it's that it's that vibe, in which I could laugh and stuff. Cause again, like some of us have, whether you've been on psychedelics where you didn't actually like you done took doses where you didn't actually felt what it feel like to transition, or through meditations you done cross sides, or you might have had a near death experience, so you kind of like, it's like, whatever, as long as I'm connected. And again, that's why I said that, like that in the other video, uh again, as I was bringing up the aspect of not fear mongering yourself. That's why I still had that aspect of, like, again, though, having that awareness of just connecting with your intuition, you know. But how self was like, you did it, you worded it right, but it still was a little, not say too slick, but it's like, you need to be a little more straightforward in this message and expressing it. So, again, wanting to come back around and bring up that aspect, and this is for future references, like always, like whatever premonitions, like you get a premonition of somebody gonna transition in your family, or you get a premonition of, you know, so and so gonna lose her baby or whatever, like her baby, and lose her baby, but for lack of a better word, because this is all illusion, this is all a game basically. And getting to that awareness too fully right now is to really, step into that alignment of knowing how much this is a game, how much this is an illusion, and again, and knowing that things are gonna shift in this illusion, the the fact that this is illusion is gonna get exposed more and more, to the point where we're gonna actually, like, start to be able to see it with our own two eyes instead of just our inner eye. I don't know if I spoke on it on one of my acid trips, multiple ones, but one of them, it was real eerie in the sense of, like, the, I just felt like I was in a TV screen, you know, like, and again, that's why I always bring up, check out my videos that I did, the two videos where I broke down the Truman Show. But that's basically what we dealing with, in essence, is, we on the Truman Show, and now the Truman Show is getting to the climax, you know what I'm saying? Truman starting to realize that he in a show, you know what I'm saying? That all of us Trumans, you know what I'm saying? And also, again, stepping into that awareness of, again, just being courageous and trusting higher self, and knowing that you're going to be where you need to be when you need to be there, you know what I'm saying? So, again, like, not, uh, as I say, not fear mongering yourself. That's not to say act like it's not happening, or run away from it, or stick your head in the sand. Don't stick your head in the sand. You gotta have some awareness where, again, a broke leg may seem negative, but again, that's a part of the balance of this, of this reality we're in. And that negative, needs, some attention. Because again, if my leg broke and I'm like, oh man, that leg, that's negative, man. Having a broke leg, I ain't paying attention to that, or this and that. Then that broke leg gets worse. Oh, I'm gonna just focus on sunshine and butterflies, and like, nah, you gotta actually acknowledge the pain in your leg, acknowledge that it's broke, and and do what you gotta do to fix it. And the same thing with, again, like, now is the vibrate, in our moment, not panicking, you know, again, moving with a level of accountability, but still not taking this too serious. Again, balance is all, like, again, a balance. Like, don't take it too serious at the same time, be accountable, you know what I'm saying? Uh, Cause again, and that's what creates the game. If you ain't got no fire under your ass, how that expression, put that fire under your ass, then you go move. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what creates. It's the pressure that makes the diamond. You know what I'm saying? Is a person being in the hood and getting shot at and having to sell drugs and seeing their mom do dope, that pushes them to the point of, like, you know being a entertainer, a rapper, or somebody who's that creates, you know, funds on a level where they never have to fucking go back to that type of lifestyle. You know, I'll never go back to the hood, as most, you know, people would put it. But you know, like again, it's through that pressure. You know, it's through going through the karmic trauma and through going through our, you know, lower vibrational habits that no longer serve us. We realize, you know, again, the seriousness of aligning with, again, seriousness, but the accountability of aligning with our higher selves, if that's something that we choose to do. You know, because again, the split coming more and more, where like if you just lean in a little bit towards unhealthy habits, it's gonna become extremely strong. You know, like if you nibble on a donut, you're gonna have a strong urge like a crackhead to get you a dozen donuts. You know, it ain't gonna be like, oh, I could just, you know, do a little bit of holding on to the past and still move forward. It's like, no, completely let, and for whatever that may be, again, we all on different levels of our growth, dealing with different things. So, you know, I don't want to put so much emphasis on like what kind of food you eat or stuff like that. But again, we are moving into our crystalline, you know, bodies. I remember doing a video a while back on like the carbon and how the carbon is, you know, shifting. You know, they're not even able to carbon date how they used to, because you know, the carbon is becoming more crystalline, you know, in its structure and less dense, you know, and again, that comes with a certain shift in our body suits, you know. Again, that's not no like advocate for like being a vegan or eating healthy, but again, to whatever aligns with you, you know, being as healthy as possible on a mind, body, and soul level, and doing whatever that is. Again, I ain't even gonna be particular about it. I just say do whatever it is that you know is authentically and truly aligned for you to have peace, harmony, and balance, you know, within your being, to create a again a harmonized vibration and allow for your vibration to raise, because again, it's about a harmonized vibration. You bring in the teachings from, you know, the science that Dan Winters bring up with the science of the torus field and constructive wave interference and deconstructive wave interference. Like when you know, when our heart is coherent, you know, and you know, say for instance, the magnetic lines in our when the magnetic lines in our torus field is moving at the golden mean ratio, you know, basically moving, you know, just like how the golden mean ratio spirals out, it's moving in that exact measurement. When our torus field magnetic lines is moving in that exact measurement, you know, that's fortifying our, you know, our torus field and allowing for us to stand stronger in our high vibration. Cause when waves, so say for instance the waves in our torus field is clashing, but when it's in the alignment with the golden mean ratio, those waves are clashing, but without destructing each other. You know, it's constructive wave interference, where they come across each other and they actually build each other up instead of tear each other down. You know, and I brought up examples you know, before, of like eating certain foods, or like, you know, when you heat up vegetables or something like that and you pop the live enzymes out of it, you know, like you cook the life out of it, or basically busting the torus fields of, you know, the magnetic fields of the cells in that vegetable, you know, by overheating it, or whatever the case may be. You know, the same thing with us, as above, so below, as within, so without. You know, like if you heated up this bodysuit too much, you know, and it's not prepared for it, you know, again, if it hasn't upgraded to its crystalline bodysuit to handle it, you know what I'm saying? Again, that bodysuit, the torus field, gonna pop. You know, it's gonna drain our life force. But yeah, just having that awareness. Again, like I say, we say have a premonition of it flooding or whatever, you know, but we don't really know when it is. You don't have to fearmonger yourself about it. And also don't stick your head in the sand. Just trust that higher self is gonna deliver, that message of, hey, it's time to go to academy and get that boat and get those shotgun shells or get whatever. Again, I bring it. I'm just any and all. You know what I'm saying? Like it's time for you to go do whatever it is you need to do to prepare for what is coming. But again, just trust that you will be informed and constantly work on connecting with your intuition and tapping into your inner guidance so you could be more sure of yourself and more confident that you will receive that message with clarity. You know, because again, like me just trusting, like I don't worry about it, but I don't stick my head in the sand. Like when again somebody was bringing up the coronavirus to me, I'm like, you know, I know how this works. I'm like, if more than one person brings it up to me, that means I need to, have a little attention to, what's going on around it. Not to again, like it's not fear mongering myself to be aware of these things. It's just when again like the overdoing of it, like on the 3D form, like the overdoing of broadcasting it on a 3D level of like, man, the coronavirus, man, and you could get sick in the coronavirus, and you know what I'm saying, and you better get your shots. That's more of but bringing up, and then too when we have insight on like levels from on a multi-dimensional level. So when we speaking on the coronavirus from the aspect of like on a higher plane, it's to fear monger and do this, but then on the 3D level, yeah, it's things that we need to be aware of, because again, from fucking with the internet, you know what I'm saying, like again, the internet platform, YouTube constantly restricted more and more, you know Netflix becoming like TV. Next thing you know is they're gonna try to, and again but those opposing or contrasting energies. You know what I'm saying? Those reflections of ourselves that's playing the robbers in this cops and robbers game. You know, you know. What I was gonna say, something about implementing something, but anyway. Yeah, it's just again like having that awareness, and that's why I just go back to that coronavirus aspect. And again, like that's what I was gonna say, like the fear mongering with like Marshall, like that's what I was saying too, like the North Korean aspect, like where they gonna be having TV be a programming where it's just the history of like Kim Jong Il, like out there like Kim Jong Il, and you gotta praise Kim Jong Il, and he's like the god, and the only TV station is on is watching Kim Jong Il do everything in his day to day. But again, like what's going on now, and hence why again, like it's not fear mongering to have insight. When I think about like all my videos where I speak on, I always bring up the War of the Worlds aspect as an example. I'm like, with the TV thing, like what War of the Worlds, where they broadcast in the 1950s or something like that, they broadcasted, uh, they did a radio broadcast and made it sound like an alien invasion, and they basically did it as a test to see, how people was gonna react with it and deal with it, and how much people believe in, aliens coming to get them. And once they saw people reaction, and they was able to implement more of a subconscious programming, you know, because I genuinely feel right now, that it's again, this is not no like happy-go-lucky utopia type of vibe, because I did have to catch myself and pull myself out of that vibe where I was being extreme about like, oh, look on the bright side, or it's all gonna work out, type of energy. I had to balance that out, but I definitely feel a vibe of that, like with the awareness, you know, of like people that's like again like people that's becoming more and more aware of that. It's more going on in this reality, and And then those of us who already been working, on connecting with our higher self and doing our inner work, and again spreading that message, like to the point where, again, like, I don't know, oh, it's all gonna, but like I feel like, again, they may try, like, again, some type of, like, again, like stumping. I think of like how cops are trained to do, and how, like, in movies, like in horror movies, the ghosts, you know the most of ghosts are, cops, like ghosts in some cases, like, they gotta stump their feet at you to fearmonger you and see where you at, you know what I'm saying? And like right now I feel like they stumping their feet, but again, like, they starting to realize, like, it's their back against the wall and not ours. And they only, their only trick is to, program and rope our subconscious into believing that they have the upper hand, in this situation. Because again, as creators of reality, what I'm saying, uh, again, some of us more strongly connected to that energy than others. That doesn't mean anybody's better than the next. That's just what it is in this, in this little illusion, you know. Because even that is a part of the matrix within itself. As far as like somebody like, oh no, you think you're better, and because you're saying that, that's Agent Smith, like, trying to stop you from realizing who you are and what's really, really going on. Again, some of us are connected with this aspect, and again, it doesn't mean like, oh, somebody's better or this and that. It's, again, just what's going on in this little matrix. And I did a little video on that, like, like, see, playing San Andreas. I got source energy running through me, and I got the control in my hand playing San Andreas. So technically, source energy is moving CJ through his virtual reality. But at the end of the day, CJ is not truly me. I'm playing a game. You know what I'm saying? And of course, that source energy is guiding the player in the game, guiding CJ in the game, and he's interacting with all these other pieces to the game. But, say for instance, when I'm playing San Andreas, as much as I'm creating my reality in San Andreas, there are aspects that are just a part of the game. You know what I'm saying? That's a part of the algorithm to the game. You know, where this person just pops up on the sidewalk. When I walking down the block. You know what I'm saying? Like, some energies are, more so a part of the illusion. But again, it's not for us to place any judgment or have any superiority complex or inferiority complex. I mean, we all at this point, like, even if you're a energy that, what I'm saying, like, even if you say, for instance, like, which you wouldn't be watching this 9 times out of 10, but if you were something that was just a part of this matrix shit, you know, look for light in the best way possible that you can, you know what I'm saying? Like, in the sense of like, you may be able to achieve breaking, shifting to a different level of reality as well. Matter of fact, that's another thing too, and realizing, like, breaking out of this illusion first and foremost just starts on a figurative level, or not say figurative, but more so on an energetic level before, physically. And, when we talk about get out of this realm, get out of this realm, more so getting out of this illusion is more so, again, like, energetically on a conscious level of, like, just breaking out of the hold that this matrix, this realm tries to, keep on our consciousness, on our source energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, not so much the aspect of, again, dying and not coming back, but also the aspect of death, as far as like transformation out of this illusion and never going back to, you know, that old consciousness, you know, that once was, you know. But yeah, things are definitely shifting, guys. You know, doing our best to, again, let go of old habits, people, places, and things that no longer serve us, and tapping into the habits, people, places, and things that does serve our highest good, that does serve the harmonization, balance, and wholeness of our mind, body, and soul. You know, but yeah, just definitely had to come up that to just be more aware. Again, don't treat it like fear mongering. You hear something come up, it could sound negative as fuck. Again, like a coronavirus or something, this and that. If it keeps coming up in your reality, it's coming up for a reason, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, take heed to that message and see what it is that is, you know, your higher self is bringing that to you for. Like, see, it is what you're meant to, like, get out of it, as far as, like, preparation in your now moment for future aspects. Because again, now is the vibrate. The future is now, and what you're doing right now creates, how you're gonna be able to handle the future, basically. So again, back to that aspect of what I speak on. Like, again, ain't nothing wrong with, again, not too far in the past, not too far in the future. It's all right to tap into the past when it's relevant to our now. It's all right to tap into the future when it's relevant to our now. Is when we just dwelling in the future. Again, that's what I mean about, like, an extreme dwelling in the future. Or, again, like, where you like, oh shit, I'ma just get a boat and go sit down in it and wait for the rain to come, type of, you know what I'm saying? Like, where you're not living. Because that's why I presented that that video the way I did, to express that understanding, like, because you'll fuck around and be like, well, fuck it all, I could just go lay down on the grass and make grass angels until shit start popping off, you know what I'm saying? Like, or I could just abandon my children, or because my children is an illusion, so fuck it, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could get to the extreme of it, you know like, understand, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, this shit is all illusion, what we call our family, even with each other is, beings with that source energy, running through it, even our little body suits is holograms, and stuff like that. So again, can't give, again, the balance. I know my bodysuit is illusion, a part of this hologram, but I'm not gonna run my bodysuit into the ground or into my vehicle. I ain't gonna run my vehicle into a wall just because it's a part of this illusion. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, because I was gonna do this on because again, no, it's not. It's not about baby finding information or trying to hide, anything. Because I was thinking of putting this on Patreon. I was like, nah, like, this is something that needs to be shared. You know, it's going to, the right ears that, that need to hear it will hear it. Again, remember, be prepared to, see people humanly combust in front of you. Be prepared to see a mountain crumble into dust in a matter of seconds. Be prepared to see, family members transition. You know what I'm saying? It's not fear mongering, and again, you're not sitting there focusing on it, but just, again, being ready to be ready to be ready to be ready. You know, and being ready so you don't have to get ready at the last minute. You know, but just, yeah. time to really step into that awareness of knowing how much of a game this is, how much of an illusion this is, and you know, yeah, with the yeah. We about to be with the yeah. It's up there. You know what I'm saying? But that's basically it, guys. Don't stick your head in the sand on some, oh, I gotta stay positive. I can't pay attention to the apocalypse or this and that, or, that's negative. Like, no, it's not good or bad, even if it's negative, it is what it is and it serves a purpose. And if it's coming up in our reality, it's meant for us to come up to, have awareness so we could, you know, prepare or deal, be, in alignment in our now moment to be ready for whatever changes there is to come, you know. Like I knew that this shift was coming, so in alignment with doing what I love which is like I love to speak and share information with people. So I knew like shit, I'm gonna create a YouTube channel and talk about all this shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna just go in. Even if it seemed like I'm creating too many videos, it's like I'm not taking none of this fucking insight and information with me. Leave it all out in the flow, and again, like I'm seeing like the synchronicities of all my latest videos and the subject matter. And I'm like, yeah, it's again, no certain date on things, and and again, having that awareness is not necessarily a close off date of like if you don't work on yourself by this point then you're doomed. But again, just make sure that you're constantly, that's for all of us, just constantly making sure again that we're no longer like we're doing our best to release all of these low vibrational habits and things of this nature that don't you know no longer serve us. Because again, like smoking herb and drinking is not a lower vibrational habit unless we're interfacing with it in a manner that brings us into a lower vibrational space. Some people interface with alcohol and herb in ways that are extremely beneficial to their mind, body, and soul, harmony, again, like, well, dealing with the herb, when it's really meant to be grounded and connect with it and not just like abusing it, like, oh, let me just smoke after smoke after smoke, you know. I'm just smoking because herb exists, you know. Yeah, as the airplane flies over. But that's basically it, guys. For real this time. Peace, peace. Happy now. Not too far in the future. Not too far in the past.